Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Last night, we discussed the revelations by Judicial Watch that the CIA was deployed domestically on January 6th. That's an angle we hadn't heard before, and it raises some serious concerns about what they were doing that day and why. Well, now our next guest tonight is picking apart some of those same glaring omissions from John Durham's special counsel report on the Russiagate hoax. He does so by speaking with one of the men most wronged in that scandal by the CIA and by foreign intelligence services, which were not given their proper consideration in Durham's report. That man is, of course, George Papadopoulos, a former 2016 Trump campaign foreign policy aide. Joining us now to discuss his new article for Newsmax and his intriguing interview with Papadopoulos is national security researcher John Rosamondo. John, thanks for being here tonight. What did Papadopoulos tell you in this interview with him?
Well, Papadopoulos told me that he wants to see Congress put together a new church committee. Back in the 1970s, we had similar revelations of the CIA engaging in dirty tricks, mind control, Operation Mockingbird to control the media and so forth. And as a result of that, Congress clipped the CIA's wings a bit in the 1970s. So he wants something like that to look at how the CIA is violating our civil rights. It shouldn't be involved in the political process. But one of the things I found more disturbing was the nexus of individuals tied to both John Brennan and to Turki El-Faisal, the former Saudi intelligence chief who had a vendetta against President Trump. He went off on Trump for talking about the Muslim ban, and it's just kind of curious that Papadopoulos told me that this guy Nawaf Obaid, who was a nexus point between Brennan and Turki El-Faisal, started asking him in March of 2016 about the Muslim ban.
That is interesting, and that's what I want to press you on more, because I think it's important for our audience to know, because this is the other side of the story that we don't hear as much. Some of the, we know, of course, the Democrats, the DNC, Hillary Clinton, but when it comes to foreign actors in the Russiagate hoax, perhaps as much as we think of as Mifsud, Professor Mifsud, and of course, Christopher Steele, we don't think about all these other players. So could you dive a little bit more into that, especially John Brennan, the spy ring that he was running that picked up Papadopoulos and others, but like you said, a lot of his close links to Saudi intel and also some of the Five Eyes agencies that seem to have been involved.
Well, let's look at John Brennan's history. He was the most influential American in Saudi Arabia in the 1990s. He was the chief of station of the CIA, which had direct connections and dealings with Turki El-Faisal. And don't forget, at the time that this Russia collusion hoax was going on, John Brennan and Barack Obama were up to their eyeballs in Syria, and the Saudis were a major funder. So I would imagine that Turki El-Faisal, after the Trump Muslim ban thing, could have picked up the phone and called John Brennan and say, hey, we need to do something about this Donald Trump because he could be a real problem for us. And it's just kind of interesting that, Arvinder Sambai, she was a barrister who was tied with Robert Mueller, did work for the FBI after 9/11. She had a connection with him. Mifsud had a connection with him. Nawaf Obaid, who was a former Defense Department official, who, British journalist Chris Blackburn, said had a direct tie to both Brennan and to Turki El-Faisal. I mean, it's just kind of interesting to see how everyone here ties back to Turki El-Faisal, and you have a tie to Brennan.
And then also, of course, as I think it was Papadopoulos is quoted in your article as saying that the Obama administration tore up the Constitution to go after Trump, of course, but he says that he, meaning Obama, made our allies do the dirty work. So if you could kind of now shift to the UK, Australia, and some of these other nations and some of their fingerprints that appear on this hoax as well.